Hi, this is Ogi with Visual Impact, and recently I had the chance to get some hands-on with the new Sony PXW-Z300 at the Sony facility in Pinewood Studios. The Z300 is the new XD cam flagship in the Sony handheld lineup, and it builds upon the legacy of the Z280, which is a universally adopted camcorder in the professional news gathering arena, but it is showing its age since its debut more than 7 years ago. And a lot has changed since then. And probably the most relevant improvement here is in a way something that doesn't even have anything to do directly with the quality of the image, but on the other hand it has everything to do with the image. The modern ENG environment is evolving at a rapid pace, and in order to keep up and ensure that news are still captured truthfully, Sony is implementing for the first time in a professional camcorder C2PA Authentication. This certification proves that the images out of the Z300 are real and not manipulated in any way. And as far as I know, this is the first time such technology is implemented in a professional ENG camcorder, which can be viewed as a digital signature rather than just simple metadata. This authentication stamp is a significant step in the right direction for fighting misinformation online and is already backed by some of the biggest names in the whole image pipeline, from acquisition to post and distribution. I expect in the very near future more manufacturers to come on board and adopt this certification, which we've already seen in some of the top-end Sony Alpha cameras. The Z300 comes equipped with 3 half-inch 4K CMOS sensors and a dedicated AI processing unit, bringing the latest in Sony Autofocus technology, such as advanced human subject recognition based on their anatomical structure and posture. The AI tracking here is seriously impressive. It locks on to people even if they're facing away, wearing masks, or barely visible in the distance. Whether your subject is in the shadow, it's backlit, this camera keeps them in focus and perfectly framed. The AI auto framing is another very useful feature that lets you create more dynamic shots by choosing a small, medium, or large crop and letting the camera do its magic of tracking the subject and adjust the frame accordingly while keeping the camera locked off. 4K 60p is now standard, and it's available here in a variety of broadcast-compliant codecs that many of you are familiar with. These include 10-bit XAVC Intra, as well as Longop, and the true and trusted MPEG 422. The 17x zoom lens by Fujinon is carried over from the Z280. It's a very good lens that many camera operators are very familiar with. It has a very good range, a constant maximum aperture of f1.9 throughout the whole zoom range, and of course 3 independent lens rings for manual control, in addition to a digital extender, which is pretty much all you need from a lens in this class. Taking a side view of the Z300 and the Z280 side by side, we can see some design differences, and while the overall footprint remains pretty much the same, you still have a very similar but slightly updated button layout. A major design change here is the removal of the EVF from the rear of the top handle. On the surface, this may seem like a controversial change, but I can see where they're coming from. When used on the shoulder, due to its size and form factor, the rear EVF becomes quite unusable. And even though having an EVF can be very helpful in bright exteriors, in my opinion, it's an outdated design that is being replaced by an advancement in display technology, with something that is a lot more ergonomic and a lot more efficient. And that is a better LCD screen with twice the resolution of the previous model. Not only that, but the LCD monitor also has the optionality of having a loop attachment that can serve as a replacement for an EVF. Sony have told me that they're not making the loop themselves, however other reputable third-party manufacturers such as Zacuto and Vocus will be making their own, so be on the lookout for them. The removal of the rear EVF leaves space for the MI shoe, which is now located in its place, and it also comes with a secure lock for your wireless receiver. This design choice also makes the top side of the camcorder much more streamlined and compact, so that the camera can be easily dropped in and out of a camera bag without any obstruction, and you can start filming right away. One new major improvement that caught my eye immediately is the new flexible LCD arm. This new mechanism is built to last, and it allows you to adjust the position of the screen in just about any orientation, up, down, sideways, or even frontal, which is great if you're a self-shooter and you need to see yourself in front of the camera. Moving on to the rear of the camera, the media card slots are now CF Express Type A as well as SD compliant, instead of the S/S cards that were present on the previous model. The power input now is USB-C PD, which can be securely locked. This is a major improvement over the previous barrel connector, since now this input supports power delivery, saving you on having to carry around a bulky AC adapter Instead, you can power the camera from a power bank, your laptop charger, or even a V-mount battery. And speaking of V-mount accessories, if you look on the right side of the camera, this time we have a very useful V-mount bracket, which can be used just like any other V-mount base to attach a wireless receiver, a bigger battery, or in this case, the Sony PDT-FP1. You've probably already seen this smartphone-looking device used as an external monitor on an FX3 or an FX6, but that is just one of its many functions. The FP1, or Sony's portable data transmitter as it's also known, is a portable data transmission device that is already becoming an essential part of the modern ENG workflow, and the Z300 is spearheading its integration. The details of its extensive functionality are well beyond the scope of this first look video, but in essence, the FP1 runs its own Sony-tuned Android OS and acts as an interface, or rather a bridge, between the Sony Cloud and the camera. It is a purpose-built unit with internal storage and active cooling, and unlike a regular smartphone, it has a full-sized HDMI input, an Ethernet port, as well as two USB-C ports, one for data and one for power. When tethered via USB to the camera, which can be linked quite straightforward in the camera menu, the FP1 can send full clips or proxies to the cloud, or even store them in its built-in storage, which is also expandable via microSD, giving you another backup solution where you're in the field. The FP1 supports the latest 5G standards, including sub-6 and millimeter wave. It also supports dual SIM, one physical and one eSIM, and you can even live stream directly to YouTube and Twitch from it. I'll do a separate deep dive on the FP1 in a separate video, as I really don't want to make this video longer than it needs to be. If you found this video helpful, a like, a share, and a subscribe to this channel will be highly appreciated. This way we can bring you more detailed content, not just on the Z300 FP1, but also on other cameras and accessories in upcoming videos as soon as we get back from IBC.